From this moment on, you will now be known as Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh-ha-ha!
Welcome, brother Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh-ha-ha!
Enough with the Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh!
Hey YouTube, what's happening? This is D from Brooklyn, the Assistant Chiefy, with my latest update. As you know, my last project was the Reef Tips project, where I added that 6-foot strip of LEDs underneath my 125-gallon reef tank. Well, you know, once everything got bright, I says, hey Dave, look, it's bright. You got to clean up your act. I had to, I was looking at wires. I was looking, not even the wires, the wire management was pretty good, but you start looking at things a lot more clearly and trying to say, hey, how can I make this better? So basically, here it is. I took my 20-gallon top off tank and I cordoned it off into 2 sections. Now I have a 15-gallon section, or probably more like a 9-gallon section. And I have a little quarantine area set up for any new arrivals, should I need it, experiments, or anything I want to do without setting up 2 tanks. I took one 20-gallon tank. I got a piece of glass from my local glass cutter. Rather than me cut the glass, it cost me $5. He cut the glass for me. It was simple as pie, some silicone. Boom, bingo, you got 2 sections for the price of 1. Now, for a lot of my friends out there, you guys have buckets, you got tanks set up, maybe you live with your parents, or they're saying, hey Jimmy, you got tanks all over the damn place. Well, one of the beauties about this tank is it's underneath my main tank, so there's no additional, stripe or anything. And you can do it with whatever size tank you can fit under your stand. I have a steel stand, and it's framed in pressure treated wood, and it's tempered and everything. I mean, the wood and everything is sealed. So rather than have tanks set up all over the place, I got one tank that I used to use for water changes / top off, and I made it serve 2 purposes. I do 40-gallon water changes to this tank. So this was really just the tip of the iceberg, like doing like 20-gallon water changes every other week. I says, well, rather than do that, I do 40-gallon water changes every month. So this tank wasn't really needed for anything other than topping off. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so basically, as you can see, there's my Apex controller. I have a Tsunami Top Off system hooked up to the Apex. You should be able to see it right there behind these bottles. All right, I have the Tsunami Top Off system hooked up to my Apex, which basically sends a signal to this pump, which is an Aqua Clear. It's a 500-gallon rated pump. It tells the Aqua Clear, hey, your sump water's running low, stupid, you need more water. And it automatically will send the water from that little reservoir up into my sump. Some people, if you don't have a sump, you can use it to send the water wherever you want to send it. Mine is right there, so it sends the water to my sump and does the water top off as needed without me having to schlep buckets. If I'm away on vacation, I can see everything through the Apex controller. And even if I don't see it, it will automatically top off that sump, which in fact tops off my main tank. So I thought it was a beautiful thing to have it hooked up to the Apex. So I says, even better, let me set up this little quarantine tank here so it's not in a separate room. It's not using additional resources. It's not using more electricity. I can see everything so brightly because the LEDs are here. I don't need another light for it. It just made life a lot easier, and I thought you guys could take a look at this, and it will give you an idea of what to use in your own tanks. Not only that, but since everything is one area and it's clear, as you can see, my dosing and my chemicals and things are right here. I can do everything in one spot. I can do the testing. The tank is cutting on. Okay, my morning lights are just cutting on, if you can see. The little blues are just starting to cut on there. So it's going sunrise mode here. But anyway, back to the topic. Everything's in one place, easy to see. For those of you that are using buckets, or you got tanks set up all over your parents' house, or your family, or your wife's going to kick you out because you got tanks everywhere, look, I'm utilizing space underneath the tank that no one usually looks at. Everything is clean, everything is controlled. You can do this with a 5-gallon tank, a 10-gallon tank, a 20-gallon tank, whatever you have room for, and it spares you having buckets all over your house. You know, even if you don't have it hooked up to a top off or controller, you can do it with a pump and some hose. You can run a hose wherever you want. You know, when it comes time to empty your tank, you can split this into 2 chambers. You can have the emptying chamber and you can have the refill chamber. If in my case, if I were to do that, I could have put this little divider here right in the middle, and I would have had 10-gallon refill, 10-gallon emptying. Think about how easy it makes your life. So that is my tip of the week. It is proper utilization of your under the tank space and using a pre-made tank to do your top offs and water changes. So enjoy YouTube. I want to thank everybody for subscribing to my channel. I love you guys. I get a lot of tips from you guys. We're all not know-it-alls. We always learn from each other, and just years of experience from you know, doing this and finding out so many things. I love every time, you know, I see other people get into the hobby and share information, and we kind of learn from each other. So I want to thank you. I have a video coming up which is going to have some shout outs to my favorite reefers. I'm going to have some highlights or probably some information on their tanks or some directions to their sites, and I hope you look forward and subscribe to my channel and keep a lookout for new updates. So this is D from Brooklyn, the Assistant Chiefy, member of Brooklyn Aquarium Society. I'm keeping my sanity by keeping my tanks. Thank you, fellas, everybody. Take care.